came out really good.
Good.
So I'll send you over some.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, because I know Joe was taking them full speed, you know.
A lot of them, opening the presents and stuff.
Yeah.
Just different people. There's a good one of you talking to David and Daniel.
Well.
Oh yeah, tell us a story.
I didn't
Yeah,
notice that.
you were animated out there. So.
That's
That's right. That's what it looked like.
Was he senile?
Yeah. Is that when he was seen?
Is he angry or Italian?
I always have to watch out when I'm talking. People talking. I'm watching them going to.
Yeah.
You know, and you see the old senile guys like.
I know.
This is a kid.
Is both getting phone calls?
No, I had a text.
Hello?
A few minutes ago.
Hey, yeah. Can I call you back later?
So the news is
Come
over
on.
here. The kitty?
Yeah, she wants to. I haven't talked to her for a couple of days, and she probably wanted to start talking. You know, you got to cut her off before you get it going.
Otherwise we're going on and on and on.
But I was wondering. I said, I didn't in Facebook. I didn't see any pictures. I would say, hey, well,
Yeah, we haven't.
We haven't posted anything yet.
Yeah.
We have pictures. We'll post them once they're ready. Once
Yeah.
we got like down from 100 to like 7.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of junk you see.
Well, there is, and we don't want to. Some people put so much stuff. I don't want to see all that. So it's just. But
Yeah, I've got my professor from Evangel will take pictures of every sports game. I think like 1,000 pictures of every game, and he'll post every single one of them.
No.
And he'll like tag the students, like, oh, you can go through and find pictures of yourself.
Yeah.
But it's like no one's gonna scroll through 1,000 photos for
You
one photo
lose
itself.
interest.
Yeah.
You got to focus on it.
He uses Facebook like an archive.
You got to. I emailed Peggy, my cousin Peggy O'Brien.
Oh yeah.
She had sent me a card a month and a half ago congratulating me on having a grandchild. And she said that she's having her first grandchild, a girl, one of her sons. So I emailed her back, thanks for that, and she emailed big on all kinds of other stuff I'm not going to go into, but they're going to be moving to Paso Robles, which is like past San Luis Obispo. Because one of her sons lives there.
Oh.
But she's retiring at the end of the month. She's with the post office.
Government. No.
She's Kathy and Nick retired sometime in the last year.
Yeah.
And Karen's husband Jim is retiring, I think, this summer or something.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the biggest one, he had a job crazy. He used to fly from I don't know, Tacoma, some up there every weekend, fly home on Friday night,
yeah.
Saturday morning, Sunday morning, or Monday morning early, fly back. I don't know how far along, and then he did when he was down in the south. He worked with contract. He's a pretty sharp guy.
Yeah.
I think he must be pretty smart.
Yeah. He doesn't seem like it, but he.
Well, that's the truth.
No.
Because if
Nice
you remember
guy.
where Sarah lived out in
Oh, in Santee?
where?
When Sarah lived in Santee?
Santee.
Yeah.
And when he came down, he for some reason he had a thing, and he flew it. And I think Bob told him how to get to Sarah's house. And I'd been there 2 or 3 times, and each time I gotta go.
Yeah.
Then you gotta go to the asphalt road. Then you and I come in there, and he's sitting there on the couch. And then I just did what Bob told me. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
He's a good guy.
Can I use your phone too?
Yep.
We just record. There's a second audio.
Yeah, he
He
always looked a little, he had his hair slicked, always looked a little bit like Richard Nixon. A
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
Very nice
What
guy.
do you do?
Just for like a second piece of audio, in case we just leave that sit there.
Was that a recording?
Yeah.
Everything.
In case the audio on this phone isn't very good, love this phone. We'll
It does a good job of doing
yeah, we'll see.
it.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask about I guess we'll go chronologically through your life. Do you remember the day you were born?
Yeah, it was a big
Yeah.
celebration.
Yeah. Best birthday of my life.
You were born at home.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until the guys were talking about it. Because on the birth certificate, it said 2111 India Street. And Dr. Winters, I guess he was the guy who walked around San Diego, he was the doctor. He called him up. I guess he drives down home and delivered me. But I think they had my grandmother, somebody in those days, you know.
Yeah, someone
It
with
looked
you.
like in the old covered wagon days.
So you were born in Little Italy.
Yeah.
You were raised there?
Yeah, till I was about 10, then we moved up to State Street,
Okay.
further up above the airport.
Yeah.
But that's still almost on the edge of Little Italy now.
Right.
But everybody, I talk to now, my friends, well, a lot of them are dead, but they all were brought up down there.
Right.
But a lot of like John Celeste, they were born in a hospital. I was surprised. They
Yeah.
were civilized.
They were civil.
You look at your birth certificate, you're like, India Street. Which hospital is that?
Yeah, that's it. I think when they had a couple of hospitals, Quintard, we were discussing that Quintard Hospital, and they didn't know exactly where it was, but it was downtown someplace, like on B Street or C Street on 12th or 13th Avenue, close to Stagnaro High School, but
Yeah.
a little bit south of it. So
And that was it until like Mercy was built?
well, then I don't know if Mercy was there or just started, but
But
that's
Mom was born at Mercy, wasn't she?
who?
Was Mom born at Mercy?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, because everybody that was, where they lived up in that part, they came down here. I think so. I'm pretty sure.
So how many siblings do you have? You had Aunt Lillian, right?
Lillian and Elsie, that's
And
all.
Elsie,
Yeah.
right.
Just the two sisters and me,
Mhm.
the baby.
Yeah.
I was baby.
How much older?
I was the king, really.
Yeah. What was the age difference on that?
Well, Lillian, I think, was about 8 years older than I was.
Okay.
Because I slept with her in the living room till we moved out of there. And Elsie had there was a little bedroom in the back in those sheds. She slept there. And Elsie was,
6 years? They were 2 years apart?
I think Elsie was 2 or 3 years. Because I remember being in grammar school. I remember being in Washington school, in the traffic patrol,
Yeah.
and she drove by in the back of the bus from Stagnaro High.
Oh, is that right?
And she'd wave to me.
Oh!
But so that was about 1940,
Wow.
close to 40.
Yeah.
So so if I was 10 or 12 and she was about 15, it's about
How's that
3
different?
years,
Wow.
3 years difference.
So you all three were just born here, raised here, lived here your whole life.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
point of Ocean Beach.
never went too far anyway.
And then, okay, when Pearl Harbor happened, it was a Sunday, like afternoon, you were at the theater downtown?
I remember that at the Spreckles Theater watching a movie. And then they stopped the movie, and then the guy come on, which had never heard that, in the movie.
Yeah.
It says all military personnel return to their stations immediately. Now here it is, just like that, Of course, on Spreckles was right there off of Broadway, right by the port.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, get a boom, boom, bing, they would get them, then moved out. And I was 10 years old, I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
So I went home, they said they bombed Pearl Harbor, that was another world.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, then we started, got wised out where it was. So then everybody started, from then on, listening to the radio, find out what's going on.
Yeah.
So, but we had right next door, you don't remember, barracks.
Yeah, I remember it was an empty lot.
Well,
Not many.
Was an army barracks
Next door to this house?
No.
Next door
The
to
the house on State Street.
Okay.
on State Street.
Yeah.
Well, originally, it was down, they had the barracks down the hill,
Down further down the hill.
further down, because they had, I think, one or two anti-aircraft guns on the embankment up there. And for some reason, they moved the barrack down there, up right next to our house. Was like a house that next door, it was a lot.
Yeah.
There was a house, an apartment, like a 2-story apartment here, there was an empty lot, and then our house. So they just put the barracks right in there.
Was it like
Right.
a Quonset hut type of thing?
No,
Or a tent or?
No, it was a wooden, real, just a long thing with bunks sitting in it. Then they had the back had steps go down and had a shower in the bathroom out down below it.
How many people were there?
I don't know, but I'm guessing maybe 18, because they'd have different shifts on the.
Did they man the guns?
Man the guns, yeah.
Was the gun right there next to the barracks?
No, it was across the street on the embankment,
Okay.
and they, we never messed around too much with that, I don't know. But the guys are friendly, we played catch with some of those guys,
Yeah.
There's a lot of young guys. But when it first started, when the war, I think the very next day, just south of us, on that block, they put a machine gun. A guy with a 50 caliber machine gun put sacks around him.
Oh, yeah.
Right there, man. And we were all, the kids were all excited, so we went over to see him. And he said, hey, you guys, could you give me a cup of coffee? Because I guess I was started. They drop guys off and then they forget about them.
3 days, whatever happened to Charlie?
So I went home and I told my mother, so I got a big pot of coffee, brought it to me.
Yeah.
And so, but then the trucks would come and feed them. They'd chow a big aluminum thing, they'd slap it down, and they'd take off, and then they'd come back, and I don't know about, I can't remember how they worked with bathrooms. I don't know. Can't remember. But it was a lot of empty lots around those days, and they just put it right on the corner. Kind of high, I guess you could see, but I don't know what it was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as long as we're talking about the war, down the street on, not Kettner, I think India and Olive, way down there, they had barrage balloons. Have you ever seen those with the cable?
Yeah.
In a book.
For the
You
planes.
see that over in England a lot. They
Yeah.
have, where they'd send up the balloon, they'd bring a cable up, way up there.
Yeah.
Because the airport, they had them all around. Because at the airport, they didn't want the planes, I'm assuming, dropping bombs on the factory down there. That's where they were,
Right.
the airport, and that's where they had a few Army planes down there at the time. Of course, right away they started building aircraft, but that was a big B-24 aircraft plant down there. Lily and my sisters both worked there.
Mm-hmm. And that's when they built that bridge. Well, there was no freeway there, but
No.
they built a bridge to get down the hill.
Well, yeah, steps. They put steps down there for people walking. In those days, you either walk or took a bus.
Right.
And they worked. They had the swing shift from 4 in the afternoon till midnight.
Wow.
They'd walk from my house all the way down to the factory, with the 24.
Yeah, we're still
And
on.
then at night they both walked up there and no problems.
Yeah, they never mentioned that.
No,
Never ever.
they did it for, I don't know, 3-4 years, as long as the war went on.
Did you ever see any action? Like
No.
planes hitting
No.
the cables or?
If they did,
Guns.
if they did, I didn't know about it. I did, but we were, one time had the Joe Henning. He was a little older. He lived down the street. He was always, well, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. So they said they're gonna have an air raid warden meeting. Air raid warden meeting down. I think on Kettner Boulevard. 2 blocks down from our house.
Yeah.
No, it was about 12 then, And he said, you want to go? Yeah, I think Conrad went, 3 of us. We went down there and we sat in there and they were showing pictures of bombing in England and they would really do this. Now, they want everybody to have a bucket of sand and a shovel because when they drop incendiaries, water doesn't put that out.
Right.
You have to put sand on it.
Oh.
Yeah.
See? And of course, one bucket of sand. but anyway, that
Mental comfort.
that was the thing. And then they wanted messengers, That way, when they had the air raid, they'd run here and there. And so afterward, I told my mother, I said, I want to become a messenger. She says, no sirree. When she said, no sirree, that was it. I didn't bring it up more. Sometimes she said, no, I don't think so, but different. But no sirree.
There's all this stuff.
That was it.
Oh, God.
But not too smart.
Yeah.
I thought, well, God, I could run,
Oh,
Yeah, they're dropping bombs.
Oh,
I'll be
yeah.
fine. I'll just see it and I'll run away.
I had to laugh, because that was her label, you know.
Yeah, that's how she's
No,
shut
sir.
you down.
No, but I said, I want to go back. No, sirree. No more argument. I'm done with it. I mean, you're gonna move the house and everything, but never been no siree.
Yeah.
Every time I think of that, I have to laugh.
What did Grandpa do during the war? Was he fishing or?
Yeah, he
was
was
it a fish
fishing.
market?
He was fishing, and they would go. They'd have to when they came in. They had a radio. I forget how radio used to be sealed. They couldn't use it while they were in. When they came in, they would seal the radio.
Oh, because of the war going on?
Yeah, and then after they went out, they could open it.
So many miles out?
Yeah, so when they were coming in, they would call somebody, customs or something, and they had a submarine net that opened up and let them come in.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Wow.
yeah, and so
Like out here in the bay? Here the
yeah, right
submarine
there,
net?
Dollars Point, by Dollars Point.
Oh.
They'd open it up, and then he'd come in, and they'd close it, and you couldn't get in unless you called in, and you know.
Right.
Wow. Well, how many days, how long would he be out?
Well, those days he had the small boat, and
Right.
they did good. You know, he did. When he built the boat in I think it was 35 or 38,
That was the Venetian?
Venetian, they paid it off in 1 year. You know.
Wow.
But it was only $21,000 to build a boat, you know,
Still,
with
that's
an
a lot of
engine and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's more than a house would cost back then, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, a house, I don't know. The house that I lived in on State Street, that was $7,000 they built.
$7,000?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was a, mansion, to me it was a mansion.
Yeah.
'cause-
Great
Was
house.
your other house, was that a one bedroom?
Which one?
The one on India Street, was that a one bedroom, two
No, it
bedroom?
was two, no, those little
Yeah.
cottages?
Yeah.
No, they had 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a dining room, believe it or not, a kitchen, and the living room, but the rooms, man,
We've seen how big the whole house is,
Yeah.
They're
yeah, well,
18 feet by 18 feet.
and if I remember right, I think they had the water heater was in the bedroom, in the bathroom. The bathroom was right here, the little bathroom is about as big as
Like an airplane bathroom?
as a bathtub. You know how long
Yeah.
the bathtub
Yeah,
is?
yeah,
Yeah.
And then there was a little thing that I think where the water heater stood on. So that was that. So that was the whole the length, but it had 3 doors. You know, can you imagine?
3 doors for that tiny room?
It had 3 doors.
It's got
One
more
door
doors than
was
walls.
to the 1 bedroom,
Yeah.
and the other door was to the other bedroom where Elsie was. Then they had a 3rd door to the living room, to the dining room.
Oh.
So you're sitting at a chair like this, and the door was right behind you, opened up, this close to the bathroom. But I mean,
Well, that's when they first started having indoor plumbing.
yeah,
That's the first step.
that's about it. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
So then the bedrooms, like my parents had if I remember, had not a twin bed, a regular,
Full bed?
full bed, but not a,
Not a queen.
no, smaller, but the regular, what do you call a regular
It's a
bed?
full or a twin, I'm not sure which it is.
Well, whatever, just a regular bed, and it was about this far from one wall, it was about that far from the other wall, and they had a dresser, and you walk right by the dresser and that was the big.
No closet. No
Yeah, they had to go to the closet, no, they had to come, but their closets were about like this.
Yeah.
You know?
Of course, people don't have many clothes.
Yeah, that's it, but.
So your father was a fisherman your whole life? Is that how you became a tuna
Oh,
fisherman?
yeah. Well, when he was younger, he ran I think the Great Western Fish Market. But
He was like the manager of it.
yeah.
And so like with sports fishing boats or just other boats? that
No,
bring the
well, they
fish?
didn't have sport fishing in those days. All the little boats would go out and bring in halibut and sea bass and rock cod, and they'd sell them. They'd send them up to Los Angeles, or they'd sell them to the hotels or restaurants.
So they would pack him in ice?
Yeah, they had big wooden crate. In those days, they had
Wood.
wooden boxes about like that. When they shipped them, they packed them in ice.
How did they, they go by train to LA?
I think most of that stuff was by train, yeah.
So-
Get there
so
before
he-
the metal sites.
So yeah, right.
Ice melts.
He owned the market before he became a fisherman.
He didn't own it, he ran it.
He
He
ran it,
managed
okay.
it.
Who owned it?
Well, there's some guys, a guy named Fratney, I think, I don't know, guys that were ahead of me, I don't remember. But he did that, but he also, I guess in San Francisco, he did some fishing up there with his father, I think. And then, I think they had another little boat that I didn't know about, a real small one, that he and his brother used to go out with. And so, but then when he worked in the market, then he borrowed some money from my grandfather, my mother's father, to build a
Girolamo.
to build a Venetian. So
Wow.
he paid that. He paid off in 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
And that's how you got into fishing? You kind of fished with him for a while?
me?
Yeah.
Well, I got into fishing. I was pretty old. I was already
2, 3?
no,
Four.
25. I think pretty close to
I was
20.
born.
You
You were 25 when I was born.
So you didn't.
well, I was working in a gas company when you were born, digging ditches.
Okay.
See?
So that's after meeting grandma.
Huh?
Let's talk about grandma first.
Yeah.
Okay. So when did you tell me how you met grandma? And like
Well,
fall in love and get married.
I was just getting out of high school, right? Just started going into college, I was in junior college, and that summer, I was working in a cannery because my father was working. He knew that Glenn Copeland, the guy that managed the cannery, and I about to get a job. He said, "You want to work down there?" I said, "Yeah." So I'll talk to Glenn Copeland. So to go down there and see this Glenn Copeland, So I went down there. Okay, give me a job. So, but it was, I don't know, $50. I think it was 50 cents an hour or something.
Yeah.
Those days.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Day.
during the summer, the boats would come in, and I'd most of the time I'd be on the boat pulling they had a crane,
Oh yeah.
crane that
Pulleys.
with
offloading.
yeah, I'd pull they'd be on the dock, and they'd have to pull it to the boat. Then they'd put the bucket in the well.
Right.
Then another guy would pull it back over, and they would dump it. And
yeah.
that's,
Okay.
so that's what I did for, I don't know, days. It was just boring, just there. And then sometimes I worked picking livers inside when they got the fish. I'd pick livers, and they give me big.
So what do you do with the livers? Fertilizer or?
But the livers they were using for vitamins.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That the fish heads and all the other stuff is for fertilizer.
Okay.
So they made money. Nothing was wasted on that fish.
Yeah.
Nothing was wasted. But anyway, we worked there during the summer, and then one day there's no boats coming, nothing. You guys, okay, no, we don't have any. So tomorrow we're not working. So I went up to University Heights playground because I knew one of the guys used to play ball with, Dick Savoy. So I'll go see him. So I drove
He
up
was
there.
working there.
Huh?
He was working there.
Yeah, he was.
And you had been to there over the years just for different things.
Yeah, well, he like a playground director, watch umpire a game,
Yeah.
get the kids to do this, do that. So I was talking, then he introduced me to your mother, Jean. He says, how was it? He said, I'm going to ask her out. He told me, he said, I'm going to ask her
Yeah.
out. And I started thinking, this guy had a girlfriend. No, he had her name was Mary Beth Young. It was a pretty girl. And
Yeah.
and he was going with her all the time. This was the next day I went up there to see him,
Yeah.
and he wasn't there, and I'm sitting there and looking around, and your mother's there, and she waits and waits. I go check it out. So I asked her out.
Yeah.
Then went to go see Grandma Corander. So I says, do you want me to drive you home? She says, well, I don't get off till, 3:30 or 2:30 or something. I said, well, yeah, I can do that. I said, I'll wait. That's okay. So I took her home. She says, I asked her to go out and to go to the show. Well, I have to ask my mother. She's 19 years old then.
Yeah.
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 I said, well, it's all right. So, pretty soon, I was sitting on the couch like this, then pretty soon Grandma Corona comes in there, you know what she did? And
Smiling.
she started talking about how, I put then jumped up, how do you know, how do you do, and all that kind of stuff. Then she went and I said, well, yeah, she said I could go. Then later on they said, because I had a white T-shirt on,
Yeah.
she said she never saw it so white, because my mother used to bleach everything, you know what I mean?
Wow. Well, you must be
Handkerchiefs,
clean.
everything.
You must be clean.
And she said, boy, you know, she thought that was a good deal.
Okay.
So she gave
Remember, she only can see out of one eye.
yeah, that one. When she put that eye on you, man, you knew it. But anyway, that was it. That was the beginning. So then I started taking her out, you know. Then she had her sisters, you know, which was pretty good. Then John O'Brien, my brother-in-law, was taking another sister out, and he was my age. He was in the Marine Corps, though. The difference between me and him is I was always working, going to school. At the time, I was going to school, and he was down at the MCRD. I don't know what he was doing down there, but I think I went to.
I know he played football.
Yeah. Well, he played, or kept talking about North Dakota State. I think he played a little bit for North Dakota
Oh, okay,
State.
he's from North Dakota.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, then we used to go out together a lot, you know. Not a lot, but quite a bit.
Yeah. My dad was telling me, you take other girls out, they'd be like, oh, I just want a Coke. But if the grandma, she was like, give me a hamburger.
I know. I take her out, you know, I figure, well, you know, we'll get a Coke, we'll sit at the drive-in theater. We went to drive-in theaters then,
Right.
you know. Not theater, but the drive-ins for a Coke, and you know. And you know, I tried to. I said, "You want a Coke?" Yeah. I said, "You want anything else?" I said, "Yeah." I said, she liked grilled cheese sandwiches.
Oh.
She wanted grilled cheese. Which one grilled cheese? I want a grilled cheese. She said, "You want a hamburger?" You know, what did it? Fear or
Genovese. Cheap.
Yeah, well, she was always hungry, you know.
Yeah. They're always thinking, oh, Andy's going to take her out later, don't give her anything.
Yeah.
He can feed her.
That's part of these things, you know, at the time, Coke was 10, 15, or 20 cents.
Yeah.
And a hamburger was 35, 40 cents. And
Yeah.
grilled cheese sandwich was 70 cents, you know. When you're cheap, you're cheap.
What do you say that Grandpa Crander knew about you because of baseball?
Well, yeah, I forgot. How was it? Oh, they. Because he wasn't working. See, when I took her out,
Right.
I didn't. I went to pick her up. I went to pick her up, you know, and her father was sitting on the newspaper, you know, they were.
He never said anything. He never said anything.
Grinder out and like, okay, bye bye. Like, you know, get out of there. And then Gene told me, he says, after I left, he says, well, I know him, he was in the paper, he was an Andy Stagnaro pitcher. Because, you know, and go to the sports section, and,
Yeah.
you know, there was nothing going on.
Right.
Just had the Padres, and then a little bit, and they probably had a picture. He said, yeah, I know. So that was an in right there.
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he played baseball when he was.
Oh, yeah.
When he was in high school.
He was pretty
Grandpa
good, supposed to have been pretty good.
Yeah, he played in high
Her
school. He
father.
was a baseball guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my mom had 3 sisters, and so my mom was like the son. He would play catch with her in the softball.
Yeah,
Well, the others, I think,
yeah.
were in the sports. But so she would play catch with the softball. Then she played ping pong. She was very proud.
Yeah.
Tell her about the ping pong.
Oh,
board.
she was the athlete.
Oh,
The
yeah.
older sisters, they were nothing, you know.
Right.
Really.
And so the father, he was a player. So one time he had a ping pong table in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, we were all there playing. Then your mother, I would say your mother, but we started playing ping pong. She beat me, you know. 21-20, 21-20, whatever it is. You know, I never got beat by a girl.
Yeah, I know.
I walked out like a little kid. I walked in the house and sat on the couch. I'm thinking about it. Kill me. The person, she comes and laughing. What's the matter? She said, I beat John and Brian 11-0. You know, because Nacho, John the same way.
Yeah.
We're trying to kill him. She just go boom, boom. Well, we beat ourselves.
I did this same thing when I was dating Teresa. We were down at Mission Bay. We had a basketball and we were playing horse. And I'm like goofing off, trying to show, I said, I can't make it, she's making one underneath, and then I missed it. And I kept picking up, I ended up losing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing.
You know what happened? What it was, we beat ourselves. We think,
Yeah.
no, we're smashing out. But she just, and she always held up. I don't know, she had a goofy way. I went, just pop, bing, just hit him back.
Yeah.
Just get him over the net.
You hit the net.
Yeah, then we're doing, but that was what it was. But I felt better after that as well, because he was John was a macho. I mean, we were on it. Every time we played, everything was a contest. When I played cards, man, he.
Tell about the paddle thing.
I'll tell you if I still have it. You know, with the rubber band on the board, bing, bing, bing.
Oh yeah, like paddle a ball, like kind of bounce the ball back and forth.
He had one every time I was playing. Yeah, I got 45. Yeah, 40.
Yeah.
Then after he called me up, then I got 150. Okay, yeah. We were getting up to like 2,000, 3,000.
I remember you wrote the
I
number.
wrote because I
was
wouldn't forget it. So he called up once, said he had, I got mad, so I boom, 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 boom. And I beat him 2,000, 2,300, and I wrote it on a paddle.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get that. I never got it, but we played cards the same way. You get mad if you didn't win. Horseshoes, man. We played with horseshoes, and we went to picnic. Your mother beat me, and I was getting mad because Grandma Coranda, her father, was watching, you know.
Yeah.
She'd throw it, it would hit, it would just roll. I'd hit the pole, and it would drop, and I'd have the big flip, you know, and it bounced.
Yeah.
You know, and she just rolled it, and I started yelling. I said, throw the thing. I said, don't roll it. And he was laughing because she couldn't throw it that far, and it hit, and it's just rolled. And she got, I don't know, she beat me once. The old man really liked that.
So how long were you guys together before you got married?
Almost 3 years, you know. I think I was 19, and then we got married at 22.
Right.
Yeah.
You got engaged on Christmas Eve.
That's right. Yeah. I was nervous, you know. I went up there, and then I you know, not romantic, you know. You want to get married? Cause we were talking, you know.
Yeah.
You want to get married? I said, yeah. But wait a minute. She said, you have to ask my parents. So they were next door to the Moores. Remember Mr. Moore?
Yeah.
The guy that did all that cement work out there?
Yeah.
So Jean runs over there, and she says, Andy wants to talk to you. And then she said, Mrs. Moore says, oh, Paulie!
My grandmother.
They come over, and I said,
Grandpa came over.
Oh yeah, Grandma and Grandpa,
Yeah.
they both came over. Then who was home? Mimi.
Yes.
Mimi
He was already dating John.
Was already
his older
dating.
sister.
They were going together with the Marine. She was going with, she's a year older than, about a year and a half older than my wife, Jean. And she was there, and she started crying because, and I told her, Gina, what's she crying for? Oh, because she wanted to get engaged first. Well, she ought to be happy. Baloney.
Yeah. But between the time that you got engaged and you got married,
Yeah.
she got married first.
She got first one, and then Emil and Patsy got married.
Before you got married.
Yeah, we
Right.
not one of the last ones.
Right. In fact, they got married, I think, in November of '51. The November before you got married, and I think it may have been the exact same weekend that Teresa's parents got married.
Oh really?
Because it was November of '51.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And everyone got married on Saturdays in those days, right?
yeah, I think that's that you brought that up. They were saying the Coranders, she married 3 daughters off in 1 year.
Yeah.
In 1 year.
Yeah.
Man, it's a productive year.
Isn't that something? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big part. Oh boy, get rid of those kids. But then Mary and Dick, they got married today.
Yeah, because they were so much younger. They were
Yeah.
6 years, 5, 6 years younger.
There was something else about that. At the wedding, they said, my wife's parents didn't drink. You know, they didn't drink. But when we had the reception, my father said, all our relatives drink. It told we'll pay. I don't pay for half the reception or pay for something, but well, that's all right, And who got drunk was all my Gene's in-laws. They were all drunk. As if they had a real good time. Then Gorman, John O'Brien's mother's
Right.
husband, that wasn't John O'Brien's father.
Right.
Because this Gorman was a bartender, he played the piano.
Mm-hmm.
They said when after we left on our honeymoon, they had everybody was drinking up there. It was in the Carpenters Union on Carpenters Union Hall up there on Park Boulevard. So he started playing the piano, big rinky tink said, man, everybody started drinking, dancing, and had a heck of a time.
You were just watching everybody else get drunk.
Yeah,
I did nothing by that time.
I said, Gene told me, said, my mother told me all her relatives, she was embarrassed, all her relatives were drunk. But anyway, that was that story.
So, what year was that again? When you got married?
When I what?
When you got married, what year was that?
What about it?
What year did you get married?
52.
52.
July 52.
52. And we bought this house in 53. A year later, and people ask me, how long have I been? I've been 68 years or something, isn't it? How much is that? 68 or 69 or 67?
Well, it's 2 years older than me, and I'm going to be 66.
68.
So it'll be 68.
Yeah, 68.
Yeah.
68.
So that,
Wow.
you know,
That's good bones.
that's a long time. Yeah, I didn't realize it. You know, but a lot of people don't get a house until they're 30 years old or 40.
Yeah.
And well, we bought the house from my cousin Anthony Brigani, and
Well, he was a realtor.
yeah, he was a realtor. He worked in the bank first, right out of college. I think right out of college, he went to Santa Clara. Up there, graduated from Santa Clara, and we started looking for a house, and he was actually a cousin, and so I knew him, and I didn't. I don't know. My father said, "Hey, we'll buy the house, and you pay us. You know, make the payment." I said, "Well, it's all right." So he started taking us around. We looked around and kept looking at this house, and the house was only about a year or two old when we bought it. And it was nice. I don't know what I was looking for. You know. Then we looked at a house down on Bernice, and I liked the house, but the house, I said, I didn't like living down in a down, you know. Then he said, well, this is the best deal I got. I said, okay. So I went for it. And so my father bought it. We paid him. It wasn't much though. You know, every month was
$50 or something.
yeah, it was $50
I know, but
or
it was
$100.
1953.
Right.
Yeah, it was $18,500.
Wow.
And so we just paid. You know, then sometimes we'd have an extra $50. We'd pay it. You know.
Right.
So then when it came after 15, 20 years, we had about $2,000-3,000 left. He just told us that forget it, you know. So okay, well. So but you know, it's been a gold mine, you know.
Right.
Investment.
Yeah.
Wise.
Yeah.
What did the house look like? Because you built this room right here afterwards, right?
Well,
Did you
right there where the
adjust
clock is, that from that clock it just came out,
That was the,
right?
because that was in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Right.
That was the big bedroom.
Radio
That
room?
big bedroom.
Yep. And it came over here.
No, it came to about where you are.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then went up and over.
well,
Did
over
you have
here
stairs there?
it was a
Yeah.
dining room.
Yeah, the dining room, the door that went out to those stairs.
No, yeah, there was a door that went out there, and then there was a door that went into the kitchen.
Yeah.
That was the kitchen.
The
The
bathroom.
kitchen was over there, wasn't here?
No, the kitchen was back there where that bedroom is.
Yeah.
That was the kitchen
Right.
originally. And I noticed most of these houses, the kitchen was always, they always put the kitchen for some reason towards the street. That one over there, their kitchen is out by, facing the street. This house.
Oh, yeah. But was there a kitchen behind their garage though too?
Huh?
Was there a kitchen behind their garage next door?
This house?
Yeah.
No, all they did added that story and this part of where that roof had come.
Oh, right.
That was part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, added was a big bedroom.
Yeah.
Dr. Cannon,
Yeah.
he added onto it because he was having some Japanese friends because he's a Cal Western University.
He was a Napoleon the Nazarene.
Oh, okay.
He was a vice president.
Yeah, it is a big deal over
Yeah.
there. He was having Japanese come and stay with them for some sort. He built a bedroom, bathroom extra. But see, you're not supposed to go off story.
Oh, because the airspace? Because the airport?
And he come and asked me, he says,
Oh,
he says, we're thinking about building. He said, would you rather us to go out or go up? And I said, man, if it goes out, I'm not gonna see nothing, but
Right.
I said, go up.
yeah, 'cause you can't, that isn't walking.
But
Yeah.
I don't know how he did that because on the deed or whatever,
Yeah.
no two-story houses.
Right.
There's no other two-story houses.
It's like Laurel
Just walk.
Street parking.
Yeah,
That parking garage right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I was talking to Spots,
Yeah.
over there, and he was in the city working. And how did, he said, well, he must have done, he told me how he did it. He says, because that's the only way.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think it was legal, but because he contracted it himself, because I think he built part of it himself. Contracted himself, he could do whatever he wants, or whatever. But anyway,
Wow.
good thing, because if he would have gone out, that would have killed us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like us, we killed it for that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they got bambooed, they're not gonna,
Yeah, they blocked it themselves.
And this was put on in '69, they bought it there 6 years ago, so it's been
Oh,
there
yeah.
40 years.
Right.
This kid, see, he's doing something back there illegal. I think he's building, I heard him just today, I don't know if it's one of those guns, boom, boom,
Oh.
No, yeah.
air guns, I see a bunch of building back there.
Oh,
See, originally what they put there was a big container, one of those big steel containers
Oh,
with a
yeah.
big crane.
Yeah.
Then he had, it's been there for as long as he has,
Oh.
6 or 7 years. And he had, I see the guys walk in, and I don't know, and I see him come out with hoses. A painter, I think he went and he painted or sandblasted it some way and cut part of it out, and now he's building onto it with wood. So I think it's, I know it's,
is it living space or is it an outdoor?
if he gives
Yard
me any
deck.
trouble,
Yeah.
I'll squeal on him.
Oh, that's good.
But I'd like to see her cut that
Yeah.
bush down.
That,
Yeah,
that's
you
good.
should
And
hire
that one
hire
there.
somebody on the black market, the middle of the night, just.
I got some friends, bikies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep telling everybody to drive those copper nails in that thing.
That's
Right.
what Jimmy always said.
But
Copper nails.
she's a lawyer, her husband's a lawyer. The husband left her, took up with some girl in the office,
Yeah.
and she's, she doesn't talk to me much.
Yeah.
She waves, but I think that's one of the reasons I might afraid one of these days, because she came here, when she was first, started, when her first dumped her,
Yeah.
and I was talking about that, well, we can she cut the bottom of it, then you could look.
Yeah.
Well, that's, you
Cut
can.
the bottom 8 feet.
Yeah.
That'd be true.
Yeah. Cut the trunk out.
Yeah.
And let the whole street fall over.
But she had the gardener, she, 6, 7 years ago, cut it, and that was it, and the rest of it's been doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
So,
So you guys got married, bought the house.
Yeah.
You started having kids like right away, basically.
right, that's why we bought the house, because, Jean was pregnant with Cecilia. And so, first thing I did, I was in that bedroom, we did, in those days, we didn't know if it was a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
So we would paint it blue, we would paint it pink, we didn't know, so paint it yellow. So we painted it with,
Oh, really?
do you remember that?
I don't remember the color.
Then we put wallpaper up and everything, so that was it.
Right.
And then, the next year, then Stephen came, and, I guess both of you guys were back there, I don't know.
Probably initially.
And then was after that, Lucy, then you got bumped to over here, but I remember, yeah, and, it was Lucy, came in from fishing, I think I told you that. Come in from fishing and I don't think I was fishing this when she was born, I think.
I think you were with her and.
So I
Dan.
came in the car and your mother said, "You want to hold her?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Better watch out, she got the flu." Oh, big stud.
Yeah.
2 days later, I said, "Call the doctor. I think I'm dying." He said, "You're not dying. All you got is the flu. I can't move."
Oh, really?
Man, I was the sickest I've ever been in my life.
I have to tell her that. I never heard that story. I have to tell her this.
I didn't even have the strength to roll over, you know.
Wow.
And I told her, I said, I'm dying. "You're not dying, you got the flu." So, anyway.
Mom was very sympathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So survived that. Then finally I was fishing again. And Janet, the guy, we're in the galley eating lunch. And Butch, you remember? John? Hey, your wife had a baby girl. Okay. That's it. I mean, that's how life was then.
Yeah.
You know what now? But yes, and letter, your flowers, and your big.
Yeah.
Hey, your wife. They called and said your wife has a baby girl. Just had a baby girl.
Did I tell you what I did when I found out? Did I tell you?
No.
I included it on the paper in grade school somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Because we had a kitchen in here, Mom has a baby, and I think it said Elsie. And it really may have been both here. And so I was standing over somewhere and I was eating a sucker, had a sucker. And they go, "Oh, Stephen, good news, your mom had a baby girl." And I wanted a brother.
Oh.
So I got the sucker, and I was right there in front of the kitchen. Rude on the ground, slid across the ground, went to my bedroom and cried. And then he comes back, she washed it, and goes, "Oh, Stephen, don't you wash your sucker?" I don't want anything.
What I want is a baby brother.
I know.
Let me tell you about your father. I'll tell you something. I don't know how old you were, about 10. You know, we got a lot of quirks, you know. You got a lot of quirks. You probably, you got to have them too.
Yeah.
We got a lot of quirks. We went to, we got to Las Vegas. One of the free things, you know, we got the hotel was free.
Yeah, you guys went to Las Vegas.
So
I think it was like 5 or 6.
yeah, well, and then we had Gene's sister and Mary and Dick was going to watch your kids.
Oh, really?
Because we were only there for 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
You know, it was a big deal. And so Gene gave them the structure, you know, put them to bed at a certain time, this and that, okay. So we come back, you know, and Dick said, "I had to spank Stephen." I said, "Well, Stephen, like a piece of butter." Hey, you wouldn't mind, you wouldn't go to bed, Okay. So after the deep, I went and said, "Did the Uncle Dick have to spank me?" He said, yeah, but I didn't cry. I said, "You know what it was all about?
No.
You wouldn't go to bed unless you had 5 crackers. You had to have 5
No, I believe it. I believe it.
Ritz crackers, and then he'd go to sleep. I think he gave you 2 or 3, but you wanted 5. You know. So I think I had a lot.
I believe it.
I had to spank him. Then I asked her, "Bob, did you get a spank?" "Yes, but I didn't cry."
Right.
There's a lot of quirks. You had to have 5 of them. It was 3, and he gave you 2, but he didn't give you the full amount because he wanted to show you.
Yeah.
No, that is true.
Yeah.
I used to, and I think I told you, he had a bed next to the bed that had a dresser, had a lamp on it, and had a lampshade, had a cowboy lampshade. And when I went to bed, the lampshade just had to be just right, and the closet had to be completely closed.
Well,
And
then
that was okay.
he had on the shelf all those
Oh, yeah.
all those
Plastic models.
plastic models that you
Well, the
paint.
monsters.
Monsters, a Wolfman,
Yeah.
Mummy,
Dracula.
this and that, and they had them all.
Dracula.
All lined up.
Oh, yeah, they're this big.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great.
So we had a lot of quirks in this family, so if you
Yeah.
got a little something going on, you know where it came
Yeah.
from.
Don't worry about it.
Well, do you remember when I was a kid, I was sleeping on the bottom bunk, I think it was under Daniel or before Daniel or something, and for some reason I thought that my bed was going to turn into a spaceship, was going to fly away, and I thought, I don't want to leave, I want to have toys when I'm flying away. So it's like the middle of the night, I go to the the closet, and I pick up a bucket of toys, put on the bed, and I look, I'm like, well, there's more toys. So I took every toy out of the closet, put it on my bed was like full of toys. And then I realized I can't sleep now. I have a toilet bed, so like I knocked on your door and I was like, can you guys help me take the toys out of my bed?
I don't even remember.
I remember doing that. I remember that.
Remember someone throwing everything out.
Yeah, I did that too. No, because there was the baby gate in my room.
Yeah.
Mom put me there, I was mad.
Right.
Just everything I threw it out.
It was tight.
It was a big pile on the hallway there.
Yep. A lot of oddities.
So, at what point did you start fishing then?
Oh, that's when, we started getting too many kids, and I was working at a gas company. I was making 200 every 2 weeks. How was it? I'd get $200, I think. Except for at the end of the month, I'd get $210, $10 more than I run before.
Even out the days.
So I said, so I told my father, that's when my father got the South Seas. They bought the South Seas, but they didn't take possession of it yet.
As a ship?
Yeah. So that's when I told my father I wanted to go fishing. He was happy.
Yeah.
Oh, right away, he says, you'll even save money. He said that way when you go fishing, you don't spend money. You're out there.
Yeah, well, you don't have to spend it.
Oh yeah.
So and that was 1955, I think.
Yeah.
1955, and I stayed with them for, I don't know, 10, 12 years. Then my father would tell me, he says, the other boat, Marco, we're on Olympia, he's looking for a paper captain, for a navigator. Mm-hmm. And out in the South Seas, they didn't do very much, they were just ordinary, So I went with Marco, and they gave me a share and a quarter, being because I had the papers, and I made money there.
Right.
That guy was good. So
Charge.
I know.
Lucy said, staying cool in 115-degree heat.
115 degrees. Oh, we're gonna be there in 2 days.
I know, that's what Susie said, when you get up early, we're going right past the heat.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went with Marco. We did real good with him. But then the seiners come with the nets. We were just pole fishing. And by the way, we got 115 tons fishing with the poles, albacore up off the Columbia River. That was people that even Big John would say, "Were you on the boat?" And I said, "Yeah, I was on the boat then." It was 90 miles west of the Columbia River, 115 tons catching with pole, and that's a lot of fish.
And it was rare to go north, because typically you went south.
We were down in Mexico, and things were slow, and he says, they're doing good in albacore up off Oregon.
How many days did it take to go to Mexico?
I can't remember, but we were down there, and I thought, well, we're going San Diego. We were already out for about a week or two.
Yeah.
I thought maybe we'd come in and get fuel. Went up there. It took about 2 days to get up there. It took 2, 3 days or 4 days from down there. Well, one time we were in Galapagos with the South Seas.
Yeah.
It took us 11 days from Galapagos to San Diego at 7 knots, almost 6 knots weather. Man. But anyway, we went up there and we did real good. We loaded up, unloaded up there, and went out, got another load, came down and went there and unloaded it at San Pedro, then came to San Diego, and we got everything. And then I don't know if we were back up there again, but that was a good year. But then after the seiners were coming, everybody was going tuna seining with the nets, because they were catching them and doing real good. So then at Cookie Verissimo, some guy told me they needed a navigator, so I said, I'll go on a purse seiner, try a purse seiner. So I went with him, and he was like the South Seas, just. And so while I was with him,
on the historic.
huh?
That was on the historic.
What did I say?
No, he said Olympia, the first one, then historic.
Yeah, the Olympia, and then I went on the historic, and it was a seiner, but it was, just for long trip, 40, 50 days, 60 days,
Gosh, 2 months.
Yeah, that was routine. then,
short.
then, one time, John Silvera, I was in the Coast Guard with, he called me up, he says, hey, he says, I'm building a boat, a brand new boat, I want to navigate, you want to come? Yeah! So, I went, boat was still being built, we went up to Tacoma, Washington, and we brought the boat down, and I would fish with him for 12, 15 years.
Sarah Marie.
And we did pretty good, you know,
Yeah.
it wasn't the best, but we made a lot more money than I,
Yeah,
Make
it
it
was
nice.
consistent.
yeah, so we did that real good. Then, one time, after, I don't know, about almost 30 years of fishing, your mother told me, say, hey, you know, kids are graduating high school, I don't know, you graduated college, the third grade college, you haven't been around to see any of that stuff, you better start thinking of retiring. That's all she had to say. Because Julie had told me, Julie Salesi.
Yeah.
He says, hey, he says, if you ever quit, he says, you can work for me at the fuel dock. I said, okay, I remember. So right away, hey, I'm gonna quit, do you need a minute? Yeah, so I worked at the fuel dock down there for about 10 years. He didn't pay too much either. He go work for the Genoveses, you know. So,
But you had insurance and you were here.
well, that was it. I think that's something I was making $15 an hour, and I was running the place, running up and down, and sometimes I'd work on 4th of July, sometimes on Sundays because the boat, they needed fuel, and I'd go down there every morning, be down there like 6:30 in the morning, didn't have to be there till 7 or something,
Yeah.
and I'd open up, get ready, it worked late. I'd take my inventory at the end of the month, bring it home and do it instead of down there. Gil, who ran it before
Oh,
me,
yeah, right, Gil, I remember Gil.
he's a sly guy, but he put some money in the fire, but he did a thing, and I told him, well, you don't take it home? I'm not taking it home. They don't pay me to take that thing home. So, while I was fueling the boats, he used to go back over the papers, you know, because the Chevron would say, well, you reported 300 gallons of this. You only had 220 gallons, you know. Then you had to go find out where the other gallons went to.
Yeah.
And you spend 2-3 weeks doing that every day. Well, I was out there fueling the boats, you know. But I do it at home, and then I never felt good until everything.
Balanced out.
One time, I was about 1,200 gallons short of diesel. That's just driving me crazy. You know, Gil, let it run. You know, forget about it. You know. And it's driving me crazy. I told your mother, it was that night. I said, I gotta go down. Come on. So went down there, and I started checking the tanks again with the flashlight.
Oh, yeah.
Then thank God, they had these big, they call them sticks, you know, and they're calibrated every
like oil
1,000
stick.
gallons or every 5
Yeah.
gallons. Well, the sticks are square, and on one side was like 1,200 gallons, and the other side was like 1,000. And at one side you're using, one side, so I got the wrong one. Thank God, man. It looked like the world came to, you know. But Gil, he wouldn't have, because every, once a year, the auditors would come, and they'd check, and if you had too much fuel, they kept it for Chevron. But if you owed some, they charged Julie for it. See, and I didn't want, I didn't want to have. I said, whatever. I told the guy, I said, I don't care what you do. I said, but I don't want to be charging the boss,
Right.
my mistake.
Yeah.
But it never came out that way. But Gil, he was making some money on side. I think he took a trip.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it. I'll tell you the story. One time, guy come in for, it's a lot of small boats, a lot of yachts, they take 200 gallons, 250 gallons of diesel, and sometimes gasoline or oil and stuff. And so we fueled up this boat, and so I went in the office with them, and he goes, hey Andy, we're gonna wipe the top of those drums down. We're down I said, okay. And I told myself, what do you want? Wipe the top of the drum with oil,
Yeah.
We never did that. I said, okay. So I'm down there and I'm thinking, that doesn't make sense, It bothered me, it made me feel bad, like, get the hell out of here, Well, not too smart. When he went on vacation, see? He went on vacation, so I start doing some oddity. So I started checking, because when you fuel a boat, we had a little thing, we put how much,
Ledger.
what the name of the boat, the time, the date, and how much fuel, you know? So I went there, I saw the fuel, then I went look for the invoices, and I couldn't find an invoice for that fuel, because I found it for every single one of them for that. And that's that one while wiping the thing, like 250 gallons, you know. So what the world going to? I started thinking, then it dawned on me. He had some other invoices, that old invoice that they never used. Well, he wrote this guy on this invoice, and he gave it to him. The guy paid him, and he put the money in his pocket, and that because when they bring in like 15, 8 or 10 trucks loads of fuel, and especially in the summer, it's hot. You gain a lot of fuel because it expands.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gain 1,000, 2,000 gallons. You know, so he had the surplus of fuel, so it didn't show up on it.
Right.
It's
So
so low,
yeah,
it's so
because
covered.
that money.
Every time you stuck the tanks for inventory, you took the temperature, and then it told you,
You calculated it out.
you calculated, see?
Yeah.
But he had this surplus, and he was putting all the money. Not only that, but then, I shouldn't even tell you, poor guy's dead, and I'm digging on him. But a lot of boats would bring fuel, lube oil. They'll say, hey, now I got this lube oil, I gotta get rid of, The guy said, okay. We'd have a lot of empty drums on the dock from pumping. We'd pump all this lube oil in. Okay, we'll take care of it. Well, he'd call this Aztec Oil. They'd come down, pump it, then he'd give them like 20 cents a gallon, and he'd make $100, $190, $20.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I
Everything on the
he
side.
was putting it in his pocket, but I didn't see any of it. I didn't want any of it. I didn't say.
Did you tell Julie this guy's robbing you?
After he left,
Yeah.
I told him, I said, hey, oh yeah, I know, but he didn't know.
Just trying to save face.
Yeah.
Then Julie, the Coke, they used to had a Coke machine out
Yeah.
there, Coca-Cola. Julie says, I came here one time and just when I ready to close, I said, oh, Gil, he had his truck, he was putting cases of Coke in his truck. What did I do with my Coke? And then he took it out, and I said, at the office, I said, why'd you take the Coke machine out? He said, we're losing money on it.
Man.
Boy, dog.
There's so much of that stuff.
Yeah. So
But hey, Gil knew his stuff though, he was a real hustler, man. Sometimes he'd go down and bring a boat, because he had papers too, because he'd go pick a boat, well, we can't bring it down because the skipper, he'd drive down and he'd bring the boat to fuel it up, he was a real hustler.
yeah.
But you had to watch him with 2 eyes though,
Was there a story about a long time ago? His boat went somewhere south in the wrong ocean waters, and the crew was seized by the
Well, he
government
was,
down
he's
there.
at Ecuador.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but then somebody escaped at night and ran to the boat, and they were shooting at him, and he had to get back to the boat to save his boat, to save his life.
No, the only thing I knew about, because they took us in,
Mm.
we were fishing off of Ecuador,
Mm.
then they're not like Navy.
Yeah.
They come up with a boat, it's might be an old minesweeper, that the government gave them.
That the United States sold to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they'd have a bunch of these young guys with rifles, so they'd put them on a boat and follow themselves home. Okay, all right. So the young guy would come up with his rifle, and then the guys would get from the boat, look at the rifle, this and that, there's no bullets in it.
Yeah.
They took us in,
The Martin
then
Fire.
we'd be there for a day or two, then they got the government would pay the fine.
Right, because they were disputing the United States and Ecuador as to what territorial limits were.
Yeah, like I think it was, 100 miles or 200 miles. The United States wouldn't recognize 100 miles, but it would recognize 200. and we were out, to the United States, we were out legally, but they took us in, so the United States just paid it, and then they let us go.
Right.
But then there was said that, one guy was talking about, when they saw one coming, and said they took the boat and started running, they were shooting at them,
Right.
you know.
Oh,
But they,
Tell me that story.
huh?
So another boat.
I don't know.
Oh, no, you heard about another boat.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't us, you know.
You weren't getting shot.
No. We were taking
Yeah.
a chance. Fortunately, the other some of them they took off, but you know they're a long distance, and these some of these boats fishing boats are probably at the same speed, if not faster than that old minesweeper that the
Right.
Ecuadorians had.
Right.
They have shooting and they got away, but the trouble is they knew the name of the boat, so when they come by, they was always in trouble.
Oh yeah.
So that was, it wasn't too many problems, but there were the ports down there, like Guatemala. Everybody, all the guys like to go down to Costa Rica. In Costa Rica, people were friendly down there.
Yeah.
The rest of them, they weren't too friendly. The Navy and stuff.
Right.
I guess they resented the United States.
Well, Costa Rica is a real popular vacation spot nowadays.
Yeah.
A lot of people are moving down there.
The people, the guys would say, in Costa Rica, if you're in a bar and you get drunk, you pass out, you have your wallet on the table, you come back, it's still there.
Uh-huh.
But there's other places that still
Not so
your
much.
teeth, yeah.
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 So you learned Morse code, right?
What?
So you learned Morse code, so you could communicate with grandma.
Well, yeah, when I was a ham operator, I
Okay.
learned that, you know, that regressing,
Yeah.
during the war, they were, my father had bought some, these flags, those little flags that see the Navy.
Yeah.
I know they bought some of those, but they didn't know what they're for.
Yeah.
You know?
Just
And
to look
then they
official.
wanted him to learn Morse code. He said they can only speak English. Morse code, you know. But I took it up, and I became a ham operator. And then I used to talk home almost every day. And then, well, your mother, I shouldn't tell you this because I know you. I said, what? She went to going to high school to become a amateur ham. She learned like 4 words a minute.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I said, why didn't you? Because I know you're going to keep making me do it till I get my other license. That way, I wanted her to get her general license, and I could talk to her on my phone,
Right.
just like you're talking on a
Yeah, because
telephone.
if you get the license, then you can talk by phone?
Well, you talk on the radio,
Right.
and I had the radio over
Right.
it. But
Right.
see, what I talk about, you remember, you lived down the street, Crane, Bob
Yes,
Crane?
yeah.
He was a ham operator, nice guy, he committed suicide. But
I'll show you the house. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then there was Bernie Burns and Chula Vista. So I got to know those guys, and they said, well, call us. He says, we'll make a schedule early, what was it, most of the time, early in the morning. You know, San Diego time about 8 o'clock or 7:30 San Diego time. Get on the air and call us and we'll run you a patch. So I used to get on the air while we were looking for fish and talk, Bernie, are you there? You know, for WX, well, I forget what it's called letters were.
The XBR, BRR? W?
Mine was WB6BRR.
Yeah.
And W6BIG was Bernie.
Okay.
And then King 6 Charlie Mike was the
Crane?
Crane. What's his name Bernie down there in Chula Vista, and he says, "You want to talk to Jean?" I said, "Yeah." So call your wife, and she'd pick up the phone, and we'd talk.
Was it, so they would call from the radio to the phone?
I would call to Bernie,
Yeah.
to his radio,
Right.
and then from his radio he'd have a patch.
Right.
From the radio to the phone.
Okay.
So he dialed her number, and she answered,
Oh.
and so it went right directly into the phone.
Yeah.
And but what your mother didn't understand. Bernie could hear every word. we
Oh,
said,
yeah.
you know. She thought that
That was a straight
was
telephone.
like an operator. You know,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
when you're-
Well, because before that, when he would call, and sometimes we'd call from him from the maritime operator,
yeah.
and he would call, and we would talk, and you had to say over.
Yeah.
So they would flip the,
Switch you over.
so they'd flip
Yeah,
the switch.
yeah, say over, because otherwise you'd be talking at the same time and nobody hears anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only goes one way.
So that you have to learn to say over. But Bernie, he'd be listening, you know, and stuff. But you couldn't talk business on there because that's a commercial, amateur.
commercial use.
Right.
You can't say, buy me some stock, or I sold a house, you know,
Yeah.
for $1,000.
Like business,
You know?
said
Yeah.
2 gallons of oil.
Yeah.
So,
So was it just you talking to Grandma, or was it like the whole ship could talk to anybody here in San Diego?
well, no, I just talked to her directly, but what I would do is I keep it real short. You know, we just said hi,
Yeah.
how's everything, this and that, and then cut it short. And then I'd have one guy every day. I'd have one guy call home. He could call home and talk to his wife, you know, and how the kids, this and that, and all like that. But I'll go back the way it started. When we went with on the Olympia, we were going to Galapagos. So we got down to Galapagos. We anchored because we were going to go for bait at night. And so the chief was a young guy, Ed Childers. He says, "You want to call home?" I said, "What do you mean call home?" He said, "I got a ham radio set." I said, "You can't." Yeah, because I know. I said, "Mark was not going to let you call home on the radio from the ship because you have to call the marine operator, and then the marine operator calls your house, and it says, I don't know, at the time it was expensive, you know, $3-4 a minute or whatever." And he said, "You want to?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "What is it?" So I went in there, and he had a little dinky old radio about this man, about like this, and you call this guy and some other guy in Chula Vista. So we call home, and I think Cecilia answered the phone, and she told me you broke your collarbone again.
Oh, really?
No, Stephen broke his collarbone again the second time, I think.
June 2nd, 1970, 10th,
Yeah.
end of 10th grade.
No, and then
That's my anniversary just the other day.
and I said, "Where's Mom?" "Oh, she's at the store." I said, "Oh man, of all times to go to the store."
Oh, really?
So she talked. We said hello, you know, goodbye, and that was it. So I said, "Man," and all he had was a vertical antenna, one, you know, like a little fishing pole. Yeah, that's
a good deal.
I started studying that stuff, you know. You had to learn 13 words a minute. That's the hardest part.
Oh, okay.
And after
I remember him practicing because I was in high school and he'd be in here and wake up. They call you did that.
Then we go for a test at the FCC office up there and see some old man. "I've been here 35 times. I don't know. I can't get it." He says, "You go home." He says, "I can do 30 words a minute. But all you need to do," I think it was 15.
Yeah.
He says, I get up here, I get this, and I can't do it. I felt sorry for the guy because it's a mental block. I was starting to get like that, you know, you ever did that, then.
Yeah.
But that's the first time I passed it, and it says you want to try for advanced. Take a test. No, that's good enough. That's good enough. I got out of there.
Yeah.
Then they said, "If you get it, I'll buy the radio for the boat," you know.
Oh.
So he bought the radio for the boat,
Okay,
but then I
yeah.
made one of my own for
Right,
8th kit.
right,
you know.
right.
That's what. Then your mother started learning, and that's.
Oh.
She said, "I know you're gonna make me start. That's keep. Are you studying? Don't bother me. Don't bother me."
So once you guys had all the stuff that you needed, was it just you talking to the house, or was it your whole ship? Each guy could talk to his family.
Each guy.
your
Well,
grandma.
you talk to that one guy. You have to talk to that one guy in San Diego, and then he calls whoever you have on the line. You give him the phone number, and he calls that house.
Right.
And the guy will talk to his wife, you know, or and whatever for a few minutes. Sometimes the guy, I tell the guy, "Hey, you know, cut it off,"
Yeah.
because the guys, they get tired because they have to keep switching back and forth over,
Yeah.
and it's boring for them. So they talk about nothing.
Mm.
But every day on the boat, I would let one of the guys call home. Some guys didn't want to call home because they you know,
The report.
you know, they didn't want to talk to their father, their mother, you know.
Yeah.
If the guy's wife was married to him, he'd talk. She wanted the kids. So, but it turned out pretty good. There were several boats that had ham operators.
Okay.
You know.
So it's
The
good
bootleg,
to get about
we
the-
call them bootleg. They were using Mexican call letter signs.
Oh,
you know. But I did it legal. I got my own.
Right. Right.
So what's your advice on life? At 91 years old, what's your perspective on life?
Okay,
What's the secret?
this is. I look at this and then on both sides, moderation. You've heard that. You hear it all the time.
Yeah.
And like I told you, all these guys that I fish with, all of them, when they were big drinkers, man, they drank, they smoked, you know, this and that. They worked hard. Every when they come home, they had a few. They were drinking, smoking. They're all dead. Every one of them. The guys, Cosmo wasn't a big. I don't think he smoked. I don't know if he did or, but and wasn't a big drinker. They drank. Everyone drank,
Yeah.
but not.
Exciting.
And Julie and John,
Yeah.
they're both. Neither one of them smoked. Well, Julie smoked cigars, but they didn't drunk. You know, they drank, have one or two glasses, and they lived up there pretty good. But every single one of them, besides cancers and stuff, you know, are going to get you.
Yeah.
I think just don't kill yourself. You know.
Kill your body and
Yeah.
break your organs.
Just
Yeah.
you know, some guys get overweight. You know that. Man, that guy weighed 300 pounds. John O'Brien, the football player, he kept, you know, in his mind, he kept thinking, the bigger he is, the bigger football player he's going to be. You know, well, he was over 300 pounds, you know, and he was about an inch shorter. He was 6 feet, and I was just a little bit taller. I'm more shriveled up now, but he and he kept. He'd go out and he'd run, you know, he'd jog or bicycle, but then he'd come home and he'd eat a pint of ice cream.
Yeah.
You know, he'd go out with the thing and then he started getting bigger, 300. I think he got to 330, 40 pounds at one time.
Wow.
Really big, and then he got sloppy, you know.
This is real
How do you
thin.
jog when you weigh that much?
Oh, because that was before.
Oh, okay.
Before. Yeah, he's
Okay.
because he's a high patrol, motorcycle guy, and he used to come in. Maybe when the kids would come down, we'd go to the beach. He would jog along the beach. I mean,
He was
wild. Big
a
jogger.
pretty husky guy. He was a punter. In school, he was punting. He was a husky, you know, and but he did. I don't know. He just got goofy, and
No, the last couple of years.
then maybe he started. She died. Then he really got goofy, you know, and found himself one of those little scooters.
Oh yeah. That scooter thing. He can't walk that well.
His wife died, and then Kathy says, "What do you buy that for?" Well, he went and bought it on himself for $6,000, and he didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because whenever he made something, when he ran his bicycle, he ran into a car, it flipped over, and so he got some money from it, you know, because the car was coming out of a driveway or something. So he bought a motorhome with it.
Oh yeah.
So until they always wanted to go motorhoming, you know.
Yeah.
But they did. I went with them. That's another story. It said, why don't you just come with us? I said, okay, we'll go. We followed them with the car, and then at night we'd stay with them. You know, we'd have dinner, we'd go to dinner. It was pretty good. And went up way up northern California, went up there by the redwoods. You're coming down, and by that time, you know, I said, do you want to go through the redwoods, or you want to just go to shortcut? Let's go to shortcuts. I said. I told him, you've seen one tree, you've seen another. That was the worst thing I should have said. After that, it said, if you had one meal, you had them all. No matter what. That's the worst thing I ever said. Then we stopped at Patsy's.
Okay.
On the way back.
Yeah.
And so he parks us out in front, and Pat said, "You want to come inside?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Why aren't you gonna sleep?" I said, "Sleep in here?" I said, "I've been crunched up in this thing for what, 2 weeks." I said, "I want to go sleep in a bed." I hurt his feelings, you know, because I was sleeping on a settee, like something like that, and I couldn't stretch out because of my head, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was now it hurt his feelings. Anyway, you know.
I'm interested in our Christmas tradition. We've been doing that for longer than I've been around. How did that get started?
Oh, my grandparents, man, they, you know, the days, well, I was small, I can't remember. I think the day before Christmas Eve, they would go down there and they'd make raviolis, and they had the steamer trunk. You see that?
Yeah.
Well, they had 2, 3 of them because my grandfather, you know, they used to from Italy. When he used to go to Italy every once in a while, you know. Well, they put a bed sheet on it, and they put all the raviolis that they make, and they left them there all night. Out.
Outside?
Yeah, right on top of the bed sheet.
Yeah.
On top of the trunk?
Yeah. 2 trunks. They had 2 trunks.
Yeah.
And they'd line them all up, and the next day we'd cook them at lunch. You know, Angie and Jimmy would be there. That was a big deal for me because I'd see James, you know.
Yeah, Uncle's cousin.
I had nobody to play with, really.
Yeah.
And so that was, you know, they would always have, always liked it because they had a lot of olives and drink, and always could drink a little bit of wine with the sugar in it, you know. It was a big deal. So, and then my grandparents died off, and then my parents, Lillian and my mother and Elsie, they started making them, and then, but they used to leave it out.
Leave that overnight.
Yeah.
So they'd make it Christmas Eve.
Christmas.
They wouldn't freeze them.
No,
They just
no.
leave them overnight.
No,
And on Christmas they cook them.
Christmas, they take them up, put them in a pot, boil them. Maybe the boiling killed all the bugs. I don't know.
You wonder.
Yeah, then we always in the living room. That's the only time we ever have a big deal. They put the thing out, and everybody go there. It was a big deal. Then we'd have it at lunch. Was a big. Then the leftover. We come about 4 or 5 o'clock. We come back and eat what was left over.
Right.
And everybody, because one time when Gene, we weren't married yet, so my aunt Edna had a Sunday party, had everybody over, Jimmy, you know, at her house, and so I brought Gene, you know, and she had a big table, you know, they had spaghetti, and then they had roast, and they had cheeses and stuff and all that. Oh man, she was eating it. Oh man, really good. It says, then you come back at 4 again? We went back again at 5 o'clock, and we had another one. She couldn't believe it. But that was routine.
You eat ravioli for lunch and then again for dinner, leftovers.
You know, the ones that, some of them say, "Oh, I can't, I'm going home." But
Right.
everybody always picked over what was left over. So, but then, well, that was the other thing. I was fishing, and Christmas, one Christmas I was fishing, got stuck out there because we broke down.
Yeah.
And my parents said, "We're not going to have ravioli. Andy's not here, we're not going to have raviolis."
Yeah.
And then Gene said, "I'll make them."
Oh, man.
Mrs. Corander she come over here, they made them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And my parents go, "Hey, she made them good." Yeah. From then on, that was it.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
Grandma started making them from that point on.
Yeah.
She got stuck out on Christmas.
Yeah, because they didn't want to make it because I wasn't home.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but I came home, I think, New Year's Day, I think.
Yeah,
Came
yeah,
home.
not too long after that.
And she said, from then on, I think we started making them. You know, and so it wasn't that big a deal, you know, because, you know, Lillian, it was used to, everything was perfect. You know?
Yeah.
They cut every, your mother just went into a
Volume.
Yeah, volume, yeah. Then she refined it, you know, and then we've been doing it, and then everybody's looking forward to it.
Well, I remember having it over there when I was 19. That's when I set my record at 66 raviolis.
They were smaller back then.
They were smaller ones. This one had a smaller
I
pan.
can't believe I ate the whole thing, huh?
That would have been like 74.
You ate them?
No, it was 1974 is when we had them over there. So somewhere after 74 is when Mom took them over. Because you fished till like 83. So somewhere their grandma took it over.
Right.
And then at some point it just, then when I guess,
I don't know.
Soy and the girls, and I don't know if I contributed.
At what point did the green cat get started?
The what?
The green cat.
Well, it's like 20
Oh
years.
man, that was.
Because we knew it for a while, and then we was lost for like the 5 years, and then it was like
Right.
8 years before that. Oh, and Martha was still around.
Who?
And Martha was
Oh yeah,
still around.
That was, she had it for a while, they thought it was lost,
Right.
but she had it,
Yeah.
oh, that, I don't know, 50
20.
years, 60 years?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it was a,
Well, when did we start having contests?
Right.
well, that's when they started, before, at first they just gave it, you know, somebody won it, then the next year it showed up, hey, look at this, remember we wanted this? Then it would show up 3 or 4, then they started keeping track of it.
Yeah, that's the way a piece of
Right.
paper.
Right.
The red writing.
I think it's still down there.
Yeah,
You look at it?
I think it's
yeah.
down.
Is it in the other room or is it here?
No, down, no, either that one or try the next one.
Yeah, right here.
There's a paper,
But when did we start recording right away? So what's our earliest recorded date?
yeah, but it was well before that,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
1993,
Oh.
Really?
the year before I was born.
93,
93, and he's 27, so 28 years. And that, so probably a good 30 years. 'Cause we didn't
yeah,
start right away.
oh, no problem.
So 30 years.
Oh, I think there's not more, before that.
So the raviolis, you'd say, is that about, at this point, it's probably 100 years tradition, because if your grandparents.
Oh, yeah,
before you were born,
no
every
doubt
Christmas
about it.
till
10
now.
years old, that's 19.
But you know,
Yeah.
that's what, when they started making them, they're using beef brains, you know.
Right, yeah, tell me that part of the story.
Well, I'm gonna fill in because I don't, they never talked about it because we've always had brains, go get the brains, freezing brains, you know. Then now the kids start saying, hey, you know, brain, hey, brain, this and that, you know. But the thing is, in those days, you don't throw nothing away when you're hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they put it in there. But you want to finding out, I'm looking, you know how much cholesterol's in them? Thousands.
Oh, was that right?
I looked
The flavor comes from.
that's whatever, because I looked it up, we were talking about shrimp the other night. He said, oh, shrimp's got a lot of the fish is worse for calories,
Oh.
for
Cholesterol.
cholesterol. He says, and then beef rings, I looked it up and it was, I don't know, 1,200 or something, and everything else was like 90 or
Oh my gosh, really?
Wow.
yeah, well, your mother, you know, your mother was smart. You know, when she was sick, she used to watch everything she ate,
Right.
check everything. She never talked about it,
Right.
but she got books over there. You can look it up. I'll tell you what food, how much calories each
Protein,
one, and
yeah.
protein, this and that, and broke it all down. But she's got books. So I looked it up the other day, and it was way up there.
Wow.
Fantastic. Beef brains and cow, some other pork brains, and they were all way up there.
Brains. And so, at what point did we stop putting them in the?
Well,
raviolis?
Been a while now.
not really long ago, 10, 15 years.
Wasn't it when you started dating mom? She was like, oh, I don't like brains. Let's do 2 different sets, one with brains, one without.
We
brains.
did. We did the brainless,
And then-
the smart ones and the dumb
Yeah.
ones.
And then the very next year, you just did all.
Yeah.
brains.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
then we start putting pork in there. You know.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what we put now, right, pork?
Pork, yeah, and a lot of people put chicken.
Hmm.
Sometimes don't even do that. You get it now. They put cheese. You know,
Yeah,
it's
just
not
cheese.
the same.
No,
Not the same.
No. You gotta have some type of.
You don't got the goop in there.
No.
No.
But that Christmas was a big deal, and we're making about 1,000, more or less 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1,000 every year.
Yeah.
1,300 is the record that I recall. 1,000's a lot, because we've had.
But you know the
26
secret
people
that
there.
people making it that you got to watch when I'm gone. When they start rolling the stuff out, make it thin.
Oh, I know.
You get people they get tired of rolling it,
Yeah, it'll make it.
and you got real thick and it tastes dough.
It's all doughy.
Yeah.
That's why we buy these commercial ones, you know, in cans and frozen. It's all dough.
So if you can see through it,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
you
that's
see the
it.
grain,
You see the grain, that's it, that's it.
you know, it's good.
The grain.
That's a secret, don't tell anybody.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we missed doing that last year. This year we're back on target.
Yeah, well, get this thing behind us, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, supposedly tomorrow's 15th, we keep hearing, it's supposed to mean something, I'm not sure what.
Well, I don't think they're gonna do too much, I think most of it is already done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
most stores still requiring
yeah.
masks when you go in.
I'm trying to think of little things to tell them that, I didn't know my grandfather too well,
Yeah.
because he died, I was 12 years old or something.
Yeah, the one that we have all the information on that came up from Italy.
Yeah, but then my father's father, he died 15, 18 years before I was born.
Well, I saw in the book that Pete, who wrote the book?
Big Corona?
Pete Corona, that he was like one of the two oldest guys in Little Italy, and he said when he was born like in 1851, and so Grandpa was like, he was like 47 when Grandpa was born. He was real old when Grandpa was born.
Could be. Yeah, but, well, I don't know how my grandma, but my mother, she was 15 years old when she got married.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
these
the
guys
story.
are 25 years old, they married this 15-year-old girl.
Yeah.
It was the deal. Well, that's why the Mexicans have this, with the girl at 15, they have that
Okay, so
little,
you're,
what do you call
right.
it? That's a, you know, from then on, you're.
He's marriageable, marriageable age.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
So, you know,
Yeah.
but nowadays, these girls, they have a whole mind of their own.
Mm.
So he married Palmira Zalesi, is that her name?
My grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was a Pagani,
Right.
and I told Big John that we might be related
I
some
know.
way or another.
One of these days, on my list of things to do is to check ancestry, and the more you pay, the more
Yeah,
records, birth, death certificates,
They dig up.
census records,
Right.
and that type of stuff.
Right.
I think it's really interesting, because someone's built a little bit of it in Ancestry.com. But it's interesting to see you go
because
back.
up in San Francisco, see, James was my cousin James. He passed away. He was pretty good at it. He kept. Did they come around by ship? I think they must have.
I don't know.
He knew, and I think he told me. And I don't. My mother used to talk to me about that, and
When they initially got
I
here.
wasn't paying attention.
Because, late 1800s, I guess they came into New York, I guess you could have taken a train.
Well, they could
Wagon
have.
train, probably a train
Wagon
across the country, and was there, when did transcontinental
Yeah,
Oh,
but-
yeah.
train get in?
No, I
Otherwise, it was around South
Well,
America.
that's another 30, 40 days.
Now, that white clock over there, was that the one that came from Italy?
No, no,
or
that-
that was Grandpa's?
That was
wedding
a
present?
wedding present to my parents.
Okay,
And that one over there is my grandfather's, the Lillian told me that's the clock that he used to wake up to go to fishing. No.
oh, really?
So that's
Oh.
gotta be 100 years old.
Oh,
And this one here is, I think it's about 100 years old now. They got married in what, 1920?
1919.
1990, is that what they got
They
married?
got married same date that Lucy and John got married.
Oh, really?
December 29th,
But on 19.
19.
Okay, well then it's
It was-
100 years old
In
too.
fact, it was their,
But that one doesn't, that one's just stopped working here about a month ago.
his one again?
Yeah.
Oh,
But that one over there is working pretty good.
it was their 60th anniversary when they got married.
Yeah. That one, that's a nice looking one. I always liked that,
It
you
is.
know?
I don't remember, where was it before?
Huh?
Was it in the cellar somewhere? I don't remember it in the house.
Well, my parents had that, they had that in the dining room.
Was it in the dining room?
Yeah, in the dining room, but it never worked. So when I got it, I took it in to this guy and he got it to work.
Oh.
Well, let's list off your descendants right now.
The what?
Your kids and grandkids.
Yeah.
So who's your oldest kid? Was Aunt Cece.
Oh, yeah, Cecilia. She's the oldest.
Yep.
And, of course, Janet's the youngest, but she doesn't have any kids.
Right.
So Cecilia's got, how many grandkids? Seven grandkids?
Aunt Cece married Uncle Bob,
Bob?
and she had 3 girls.
Three
Cindy, well,
Sarah,
Sarah, and then Cindy,
And
Susie.
Susie.
and Susie.
Yeah, no boys.
Right.
And then,
Lucy.
yeah, you had 3 boys,
Right.
no girls.
Mm.
And then Lucy had 3 girls and 1 boy.
Finally, yeah. And now, with Martha Norris,
Yeah.
the baby to come next month, she's the 13th great grandchild in the first Stagnaro.
Yeah.
Finally,
Yeah.
finally.
Let's get the name. We gotta get the name. We gotta drive the wedge in there. These guys, we got the skiffs and we got the Brownings, and we got the who's the other guy?
Cedars and
Cheeto.
Cheadle and.
Yeah, I said, man, we gotta put a halt to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the kids, those 2 twins. I don't know if you watch them.
Oh, yeah,
they're
they're
cute.
videos.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
cute.
we get such a kick out of them.
Yeah.
The latest thing was they're driving the car,
Yeah.
I guess in the grocery store. She's cute.
They see them in the swimming pool. Then when they're swimming.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she takes them in. I guess, of course, according to Lucy, it's expensive to teach them to swim, you know, because they give them so much, like 15 minutes a day for several days. They don't just give them 1 hour every week.
Yeah.
That way, otherwise they forget.
Yeah.
You know, and so the kids they're right in there. They getting in there.
They're just
I
always
told
having such a fun
them
time.
they're doing a good job. But they devote their life to them.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, and time how times have changed. When we were kids, it was shut up, don't make any noise, you know.
Yeah.
I'd be eating dinner, I'd go, man, it's hot, it's hot, shut up and eat. that was it, you know. And playing with balls, like these kids over here, I go over there and then they got these rubber balls, like 5, 6 of them, so I just throw them back over the fence.
Yeah.
And they've got some kind of a batting cage or net thing
Or
by the fence.
Is it a trampoline?
Well, they got a trampoline, but
Oh.
by the fence they got some kind of a net thing. I think they just, you know, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
But when we were kids, all we had was maybe a tennis ball, and I was telling, I don't know, Kitty or somebody today, and we always throw rocks at dogs. In those days, the dogs would be wrecked. Throw rocks. Now I walk down Liberty Station, the dogs, and they're kissing the dog and stuff. Everybody, I gotta say how pretty your dog is, you know. And they'll pick up everything else. And I said, we used to throw rocks at them because they'd steal the ball, we'd have to go chase them. So we see a dog throw, everybody had to throw rocks at that damn thing. See how times have changed?
Yeah.
And
Oh, I know.
now,
Dogs
there's
are.
something that was in a paper, some guys got like a playground for dogs now, where you bring your dog.
Well, you
there.
got dog parks all over.
Yeah, but this is a playground. I mean, they got, you know, he's gonna make a lot of money, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but that's how times changed.
Yeah.
You know, now you board a baby, that's all right. But you kill a dog, you go to jail. You go to jail. No, it's the truth.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
There are things that, you know,
Working on fixing
Yeah.
society.
yeah, but you know, but that I'm talking about kids. You know, like they have balls, they don't care because they got plenty more.
Yeah.
And I look at Kate's kids and Cecilia's, all those kids. They've got tons of toys, tons.
Oh yeah, they're just all over the
Yeah.
ground.
Then Christmas comes and you see, sometimes they come here and see, look, Santa Claus had a crash landing. You know, when I was a kid, you had one toy. That was it. You got it, maybe
Wow.
2. One
You
thing,
know.
that was it. But now,
Well, and now really, the more you have, the less you appreciate it.
yeah,
Yeah,
well, that's it. But that's what if the whole world is that way, it's all right because you go together. But if just that one section, you know.
Well, I remember David went down this. They went down to
Mexico.
Mexico, they had an orphanage down there.
Yeah.
church group went down there, and he said they had a closet, and this guy had one shirt. He had one shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's that
Yeah,
sound?
the empty closet.
Wow.
Yeah, well, that's true, yeah. And, you know, and we were kids, we'd have maybe 2, 3, and you just wore the same one over and over
Yeah.
again, because my mother washed them all the time.
And bleached them, and bleached.
And
Bleach, that was a
Yeah.
big pot of bucket with bleach and handkerchiefs, anything that was white, you went in there.
Yeah.
That's how you got grandma.
Well, that helped, you know. I got
Yeah.
First impression. First
Mom thought you
impressions
were
are so
okay.
important.
That's it.
Mom thought you'd be clean.
If I'd come there with soda pop and stuff.
I know,
like,
it
hey,
was-
slop
it was-
down my
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be here today.
What is it, I'm trying to think about all these different things, and, we had neighborhoods, you know, we made our own games.
Right.
Now
Yeah,
everything
creative.
is, you know, they think for you, the kid, talk about, and who, I think some kid was telling me, talking about what he was, some guy, when he was young, and he lived back in the east someplace, and it was similar to things that we were did. Well, you know, now this kid, they got the little carts with batteries in it, they drive up there, they drive around it, drive them. Then they got these little scooters, they got all skateboards, we didn't have that. What the guys would do, we'd have a 2x4, and the guy would, only if you had a pair of skates that were worn out.
Yeah,
And I mean, when they're worn out,
yeah.
you take pull them apart, and you nail one end there, and you nail the other one to the back of the thing, and you lay a skateboard. Then we put a board up. And then, but yeah, that's how I broke my arm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I was 12 or 13 years old, and I was on the sidewalk down on Columbus Street. There was a ridge, I was going to jump, and I didn't jump high enough, you know, but it hit and fell down, and I broke my arm.
Yeah.
But the kids use all those things, and then they want ball bearings. You know, there used to be gas stations all over, you know, gas stations, and mechanics, there's all regular gas stations, you know.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have ball bearings, you know, for the wheels, they're about this big around, then they have a smaller hole.
Yeah.
And these guys, I never did, but a couple of guys a year older, because I was embarrassed to go ask them. They get the ball bearings, and they get a 2x4 or a piece of wood, and they cut it and stick it through the ball bearing, then put a nail in so it wouldn't come out.
Yeah.
And then they put it in put a nail or drill a hole with the bolt, like that, and they put their feet, and they could steer it.
Oh.
Then they'd have one back there solid. Well, then they start getting fancy. They start making them, they put a little hood, you know, like a
Yeah. Shield.
Then they put a rope here, and they'd stick it into a hole that they'd cut, and wrap it around the broom handle, put a nail in it, then they put it down there, so that when you turn, the wheel would go like that.
Yeah.
Then they go down the streets that way.
Right.
Yeah. And they used the ball bearings. They didn't use those great big, those
Wheels.
200 holler wheels I used at what do you call it, the soapbox derbies, you know,
Yeah.
those graphite sparks.
Yeah.
The sparks would be flying.
Yeah.
But that's what they did.
Yeah.
But the kids were thinking.
Yeah.
Now the kids, they sit in there because they built these things, you know, the father's a civil engineer, an aeronautical engineer.
Yeah.
And they think they've got everything fiberglass. But anyway, that's how, but the trouble is, the kids, they don't think that way, but technologically they're smarter because they're learning about wind resistance and the equipment that they're using, all electronics, where they were a bunch of numbskulls, they didn't know that kind of stuff. But it comes along.
Yeah,
but
it's good when the kids
but
think.
you have to think, you know, when you don't have something, you start thinking about it. And that's what progresses you.
Right.
They
When you have a need, you take care of the need.
That's
Yeah,
nice to
but
meet your mother and
that's the whole thing is.
Yeah.
And the guys that go ahead, well, I want to try this, you know. Well, we'll try this, and then the guy, well, that's why some of these Portuguese are done real well because of competition.
Yeah.
Guy built a boat, you know, he'd have like a 500-ton boat. We got ours 550 ton.
Yeah.
One guy would say made 2 trips. I'm going to make 3 trips. You know? It was just that
What
time.
about the Monte Carlo?
But
What about the Monte Carlo Supreme?
these kids, these kids in high school, they'd have their father, uncle, or cousin. They'd go fishing while they were in high school, come back and buy a car because you know they make at the time cars were $1,000, $1,200, brand new car, and the girls are you're crazy, you're a rich fisherman. But you know something? I'm talking with Big John. These guys are all dead. You know, like Julie. You know, well he wasn't so much, but some of those guys were big cigars. You know, John Belillo. He got took down a notch. You know, but when he was running a boat, they said he was a tire. I didn't know. I knew him, but his brothers used to. He'd step on his brothers. He worked for him. He'd holler at. They said he used to kick his brothers down the stairs.
Yeah.
But they'd stay on the boat because they're making money. You know, they'd take it.
You put up with it.
Yeah.
And you know, he felt like a big shot. But the guy, they said he'd come over from the country. He didn't have a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Look at him. You know.
Worked hard and.
Yeah, well, you give them credit, you know, some of these guys, they just forge ahead. They worked at it.
Important thing is don't ruin your life in the meantime.
Yeah, well, some of those guys is, you don't take the paper.
No.
You were telling Lyle LaRouche.
You told me this, but Jay, you told me.
Oh, this is a story in itself.
Yeah.
I got it might be off a tangent. Well, this guy, I think he's 80 years old. Anyway, he died falling down, hit his head. But anyway, he worked for, I think, Marine Electric. You know, during the heyday of the fishing boats, radars, sounding machines, so radios, communications, they had all. It was a big deal. It's a company, Marine Electric, was doing real good. Well, this guy was working for him, like I don't know, it's a salesman or something. But he married the boss's daughter, Lyle. But he knew guys. He was Ombeck. He was the president of Ombeck.
Oh, was he?
And he promoted money, got money for them. Then he was according. This is a paper. It was, I think it was yesterday's paper. They had a big write-up, had a picture of him. Man, this guy really is something. Well, he married the boss's daughter and became like vice president of the company. Well, he embezzled $300,000 or $400,000 from the father. The father threw his ass in jail. But anyway, somewhere or another, he knew judges or somebody. He was in jail, I don't know how long. I thought he was in there for 2 or 3 years, but he said no, he wasn't that long. He got out and he opened his own business. You know what he called it? Honor Marine.
Honor Marine.
You see what kind of a guy is?
Yeah.
And he did good.
We're still
He
Everyone said, "Oh, it's an honorable guy. I'll go buy from him."
He was going to, he had all kinds of friends and stuff, and the paper never mentioned one thing, but it had an article was about like this with this picture, never mentioned anything about him stealing money.
Criminal record.
And then John O'Brien, John Silvera, that's what I like about John Silvera, we used to laugh about. He said, I called Lyle, in his office down there, and the secretary answered, says, who should I say is calling? The parole officer.
Yeah.
He said otherwise he wouldn't answer, you know. It's not his parole officer coming. I said, you say that? Yeah, I said, the heck with him. You know, but that's how the fishermen, you know, there's nothing cool about it, but, you know.
Guts.
But this guy was, like John says, you know, he had girlfriends, you know, and had parties and invite people over, and, you know, and he had when I saw him, the last time I saw him was at Bocce's, you know, Bocce's
Yeah.
restaurant. He was sitting at the bar with another guy with Big John. We were coming, hey, Lyle, how are you?
Yeah.
And he's had a ranch in Mexico, so, you know, but, you know, but somebody said he fell down and hit his head and died, you know.
Wow.
Had the hemorrhage or something.
It was Bocce, that show for Bocce Galupe.
Oh, the restaurant.
Now, good restaurant, but
Yeah.
Really
big bucks,
expensive.
big bucks, you know. So, but it was, we had Kitty's birthday down there, and that's if you want to put on a good spread,
So
that's the place to do it.
That's a nice place.
But I had to laugh. This guy married the boss's daughter, then right from his father-in-law, he stole the money.
Stolen $1,000.
Imagine.
As soon as he gets out of jail, he
Yeah.
starts a business called
But the guts, they had the guts, you know. But it was a today. I think yesterday or today, John. But did you see that? And I said no. It was just in the paper. So when I came home, I looked. I said, "The son of a gun!" I said, "There's a picture of him."
Wow.
And they didn't mention one day. Told, you thought he was president of Stagnaro State College, going to all his awards and all these things that he's done. But it goes to show you the papers.
Yeah.
Well,
Part of
was
the,
it? Oh, wasn't the obituary just the article?
There was a picture and an article.
Was it an obituary or just an article?
It was an obituary.
Okay.
But the
But the
thing
family
is,
puts it in.
but the thing is, we were down there about a week before that, and John said, "You know, remember Lyle Lord? Oh, they no kidding. What? They're the other guy that
Vince?
Vince. Yeah, this and that. Well, Vince is the one that said that they had the ceremony by invitation. No, what was it? He said, I don't know. Everybody there got an invitation. Was on a ship, on a boat that went around the bay. 200 people was on it. And then the next day, then Vince brought a paper about like this. The invitation showed the reception on the boat, so at a certain time. This and that with Lyle LaRoche.
Was he invited?
No, I don't think he was. I don't think he was.
He just got the invite.
But he knew everybody that was in there.
Yeah.
That guy, he's somebody else. He's another wine and dine. But all this stuff is going on and on and on, and I can keep thinking about so many things going on. A little.
Yeah, it was just
One
great
thing
today.
starts something else.
Yeah.
We'll try to do this again another time.
Yeah, well,
Get some
whatever.
more
Well,
stories.
where you're going, I don't know.
Well, I'll be back for Christmas.
Oh, will you?
Yeah.
They'll let you come out?
Let me.
Well,
It's not like it's prison.
Well, but I mean, if you got duties, I mean, you got
Yeah.
classes.
Well, they'll be
Well,
closed for a
right.
week or two.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be
Because
good.
it's year-round school.
It's kind of hybrid.
Is it?
There'll be 2 weeks off for Christmas.
Well, that,
Oh.
I'm gonna come out for
That'll be
that.
good.
That's good.
oh,
Yeah.
that's good. I thought you were down there, 24-hour deal.
Yeah.
They don't mess around down there. They hang them, so better watch
I
out.
went to school there.
Yeah. I just so I own a handgun. I own a Glock, and so just yesterday I went shooting to go shoot the rest of the ammo that I have. And I was talking to the guy at the front desk, and I was like, well, ammo's probably a lot cheaper in Missouri.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, probably. Who knows? They probably sell it at the grocery store.
That's what you were saying.
And here you buy it by the box. But
Oh,
there
yeah.
you buy it by the bucket.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's
Well, he was going to go shooting with Mark.
Yeah.
Mark yesterday ended up having to work. Usually to work on something, he had to go in to do something. But Mark came over to the house and showed him how to clean his gun and everything.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
he
that's
could do
good.
the whole
Well, that's good.
thing.
No, but James, my cousin James, would start collecting. He had 2-3 guns or something.
Oh, is that right?
And then my mother had one from my grandfather. Because my grandfather was a big shot back in 1920s, early 20s. He used to have the detective come over the house. They'd have chupin dinner, lunches for him and stuff. And his name was Joe Doran,
Oh, yeah.
You heard him
Yeah, I
talk
remember
about
the
it.
name.
Yeah, well, they used to come over and
He was the chief of police?
well, I think he was the head of detectives.
Oh.
And I was a little kid. I remember standing there looking at him. You wore a hat, looked like a detective.
Yeah.
Wore the hat in those days with the suit. And I remember him talking about, was showing my father and my grandfather about they were talking about getting guys that give him trouble. So he put it back. Did I tell you about the sap?
No.
It's this thing that fits over your hand. It's like a leather thing. It's lead. He said you give him trouble, you slap on the side of the head. He said they calm right down. You know, but so he was telling them about that stuff. And anyway, I think he gave my grandfather a gun, a 38 or something.
Yeah.
And one way or another, they got around it. My mother had it, you know, and she always had it in a closet way in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And then James come over the house, and she said, my father said you have the gun that Joe Jordan, you still have it? I said, yeah. She says, I'm collecting the gun, can I have it? No sirree! Nobody get it, I don't want that gun, nobody touching that gun.
Yeah.
So what she did, she gave it to Ernie to take it, to give it to the police department.
Oh, did she really?
Yeah, Ernie took
Really?
it down. But that was a no sirree, that was it. Because he was afraid, hey, you get that gun and you're gonna shoot somebody.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But I always, and in a head of drawer, there was always one or two shells that was, you know, been there for,
Oh, really?
yeah, you know, in one of the drawers where you have pencils and
Yeah.
scissors and stuff, and at my mother's house, and I saw it there, and I wondered if it would fit that gun or not. I don't know. But I didn't know. I didn't even bother to even question that. I didn't want a gun.
Yeah.
Hey, but you had a Glock, you say?
Yeah, I got a
Is
Glock.
that's supposed to be the hot gun now, isn't it?
They're good, they're stable, and they're reliable.
Yeah. You a good shot?
I'm a really
Show-
good shot.
Show him what you did.
Yeah.
He went to the range yesterday.
Yeah. Where? No, what range?
Down in a